Andre SOG Ward had a very interesting take on Jaron Boots Ennis.
I need y'all to get to like something, man.
And Andre SOG Ward, of course, as we know, got his own show now, and I think it's doing very well. I like Andre SOG Ward's take on boxing. I like his perspective, and I like how he uses a lot of logic over feelings, right? But Andre SOG Ward gives his take on Jaron Boots Ennis. And, of course, Roy Jones is there, the great Roy Jones Jr. And SOG kind of feels the way that many of us boxing fans feel about Jaron Boots Ennis. Check out what he had to say.
My concern for him is that you get so many fights and you spend so much time in the gym and you fight a certain level of competition. He's 35 and on. He hasn't fought an elite guy yet. Some people say nobody wants to fight him, but you still got to deal with the fact that you haven't had that type of danger that you need on the other side of the ring to turn your senses on at the highest level. We can see what your defense is when you got real danger in front of you. We can see what your offense is when you got real danger in front of you. And I see Boots at times get hit with shots that works with this guy, but it's not going to work with that guy. And what happens is if you spend too long at a certain level, you start to get a false sense of yourself. You assume and you tell yourself, I can take a shot. I walk through that. Why can't I walk through this? I walk through this in sparring. Sparring is different than a fight. This level is different than this level. Do you have any concerns about where Jaron Boots Ennis is right now in his career? And if he doesn't get this Virgil Ortiz situation, what next?
Now, after hearing what he had to say, and I'm going to get to what Roy Jones had to say in a second, but SOG Ward said the obvious, right? And it's not coming from a place of hate. Some fans, especially the Boots fans, may look at SOG as this is him hating. No, we got a lot of boxing people, trainers, guys with less of an opinion and more of a perspective on the sport feel the same way. That Jaron Boots Ennis, yeah, he's super talented, but we just haven't seen him in there with nobody for real to see if he's really the real deal just yet. Right? We don't know how he's going to be when that same tough guy, and that's just the word I'm using, tough guy, is standing across the ring from him. We don't know how he's going to be if he hits the tough guy with one of his flashy combos and he's still standing coming at him. We don't know, right? Now, we've seen the Karen Kukachan fight, how that fight played out. And, well, both times, really. And Karen Kukachan seemed to have gave Jaron Boots Ennis all he can handle and more, right? But we haven't seen anybody else outside of Karen Kukachan really give Jaron Boots Ennis much of a challenge. But let's hear what Roy Jones Jr. had to say in rebuttal to what SOG had to say.
Well, I'm going to keep it real with you. I hear that flack and the stuff that they say about Boots Ennis, but I can tell y'all one thing. The guy he fought, Steonis, nobody wanted to fight that kid. Nobody wanted to fight Steonis. None of the top welterweights wanted to fight Steonis. Boots took Steonis to school. Boots is the kind of fighter that will fight to the caliber of his competition. Mm-hmm. You bring him something real, you're going to see real Boots. You bring him something fake, you might see some other kind of Boots. You understand me? But Boots is a guy who has all the necessary tools to do anything to anybody. When I seen what he did to Steonis, that kind of let me know right then that he was everything I thought he was and some. Because Steonis is a guy, like I can promise you, that the whole welterweight division was trying to avoid. Now, he didn't try to be quite as good as I thought he was going to be, but still, everybody was avoiding him because of his punching power. Mm-hmm. Boots took him to school. You understand me? And not even caring about what his reputation was, who didn't want to fight him. Boots straight out took him to school. So he showed me that when the competition or when the call is here, he can get here. You understand me? So
now to hear what the great Roy Jones Jr. had to say, more times than none, I agree with Roy Jones Jr., but this time I would have to disagree. And that's because I don't really know anybody who was dodging Elemontis Stanionis. I just don't know. I don't think that these guys at 147 pounds was ducking Elemontis Stanionis. I just don't think that was the case. And Drum Boots Ennis went in there and did exactly what he was supposed to do. He went in there and actually ran Stanionis out of the ring. Now, if Drum Boots Ennis may up it up to the level of his opponents. Stanionis is supposed to be, on paper, his toughest opponent to date, right? It was a unification fight, et cetera, et cetera. He went in there and washed him, made Stanionis look like he might not want to box anymore. But moving forward, that wasn't much of a stylistic challenge. That wasn't much of a situation to where, like, boxing fans didn't go into the Stanionis fight thinking that Stanionis had much of a chance. I'm not sure if Roy Jones is trying to, maybe because they call Boots Ennis the next coming of Roy Jones, so he's just trying to lay the pillow down for him. But OG, I don't think that was the case, right? I can't fully disagree, but I slightly disagree. Like, look, man, I don't think Stanionis was an avoided fighter or a world beater that gave boxing fans what we needed to know if Drum Boots Ennis is that next guy, right? And the next guy meaning the next guy after Terrence Bud Crawford retires. Because right now we're in the Terrence Crawford era. But once Terrence Bud Crawford retires, whose era will it be? Will it be Shakur Stevenson or a guy like Drum Boots Ennis? Everybody's looking at those two guys as the next two guys to carry the mantle, right? It could be anybody else, right? It could be Devin Haney. It could be Brian Norman. It could be Benavidez. It could be anybody else. But right now, this is what box fans is looking at. But box fans is also looking at for Jaron Boots Ennis to face somebody with a pulse. And this is why he has to have that fight with Virgil Ortiz Jr. And now, of course, Virgil got to get past Erickson the Hammer Lubin, and we talked about him earlier. But he also has some things to say that I felt was kind of from left field in regards to Jaron Boots Ennis. Check out what the Hammer had to say.
You said you're interested in belts. Boots don't got a belt, but it's like he got a name right now. Is that? Would you be interested in a fight with Boots?
I want them belts.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm ducking any smoke with Boots, but you know, if he pick up a belt, we can make it happen. You know, if they offer a big enough bag, then we can make it happen. But just to fight him on some voluntary shit, nah.
Now, to hear what he had to say, I don't like that. Because now we can't say that Drum Boots Ennis, because basically if Drum Boots Ennis don't got nothing to bring to the table, if they're not dumping a whole boatload of money in front of Erickson Lubin, he's not fighting them, basically, right? But when we look at the Hammer, who is proven at the weight class to a degree, he ain't never touched the world championship. He ain't never really had, right? So it's like, what are we doing here, bro? Drum Boots Ennis is a world champion fighter. Like him or not. He's a world champion fighter and he's moving up to his second weight class. I'm just saying, Hammer. I'm rocking with you, but I didn't rock with that. Because now you're looking for an excuse not to fight the kid. So this goes back to what I was saying. If Jaron Ennis can't get these guys in the ring, then it's not necessarily his fault. If these guys at 54 start playing the same games that guys at 47 was playing, then it's not necessarily his fault that he can't get these guys to fight him. We can't keep blaming Boots for him not getting these guys in the ring. But if he is able to get these guys in the ring, then why ain't he doing it? Right? But Andre SOG Ward had a very interesting take. We just kind of waiting on to see what Boots got. The Lima fight didn't do him no justice. It didn't do nothing for him. Actually, he took a loss on that fight. I think he took a loss, not an official loss as his, but I'm talking about as far as financial and everything else. Like I think Eddie Hearn and everybody else took a hit putting that kid in the ring with a guy named Usman Lima from Portugal. Like they took a hit on that. There's no way they made money off that event or off that fight. It's just no way they did. Because Lima wasn't nobody bringing nothing in. He was just a showcase opponent for Jaron Boots Ennis to showcase his talents in his hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But Jaron Boots Ennis, man, I'm waiting, right? I'm on the fence. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what he got. Supremely talented young fighter. Always in the gym, right? Always in the gym, always working. We just need to see him get some really good opponents in the ring. He got a lot of fights under his belt, and he don't have really anybody that fans could say, yeah, man, he was that guy. I mean, we can't say Stanionis was that guy. Stanionis ain't really done nothing. Right? He was just the guy that was somewhat getting pushed by PBC, and he just so happened found himself in the world title fight. But he isn't a guy who I would argue, I'll say this, I would argue that Karen Kukuchyan, and I've been saying this, but I would argue that Karen Kukuchyan is better than Stanionis. Now, of course, styles make fights. Maybe Kukuchyan's style of fighting is just not necessarily a comfortable, good matchup for Jaron Boots Ennis. But I'll argue that Karen Kukuchyan is arguably better than most of those guys at that weight class. He just ain't had the opportunity. Jaron Boots Ennis simply just needs the opportunity. Now, whether those opportunities came his way and he didn't take them, that's a whole different story. Because we're hearing rumors that certain opportunities came his way and they kind of went the other way. They did other things. But moving forward in this fresh new weight class where fans felt that he should have been there for the longest time now, we don't expect to see those things. We don't expect to see none of that. Honestly, what Erickson Lubin said was left a kind of a bad taste in my mouth because now you go start playing these games. It seems to me like you don't really want no smoke with the kid. And to be honest, when we talking popularity contest, which was he was talking in his last video, Jaron Boots Ennis is more popular than you, bro. He's more popular than you, and it'll be beneficial for you to have his name on your resume. So if you beat Virgil Ortiz Jr., and I think that's a high possibility. I see that as a 50-50 fight, honestly. But if he beats him, I expect Erickson Lubin to be standing there calling out Jaron Boots Ennis. I want what Virgil claimed that he wanted. I want that now. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, he got to bring a belt, oh, he got to put a... No, I want that. Because it cements your place in the weight class to get the big fights with Bakaram and everybody else. But right now, Jaron Boots Ennis got a bullseye on his back. Right now, Jaron Boots Ennis should be relishing the opportunity of facing some of this competition. I guess they're looking to fight him. I'm not sure. But SOG had a point. I kind of disagree with Roy Jones. But I see what Roy was trying to do. He was trying to lay the pillow down, soften the blow a little bit. But SOG had to tell it to him straight. Like, look, man, you talented. You really good. You got a lot of fights, but there's still a lot of questions from the boxing fans and the boxing public. But tell me what you guys think. Is SOG right in saying that Jaron Boots Ennis has to get the fight with Virgil Ortiz to show everybody he is good as we all think he is? Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.